Welcome to Articulate. This is the Hasbro Marvel Legends Sugarman Wave Dark Beast. Dark Beast, aka Henry Hank McCoy of Earth 295, the Age of Apocalypse universe, was created by writer Scott Lobdell and artist Roger Cruz in 1995's X-Men Alpha. In a world without Charles Xavier, Hank McCoy worked as a mad geneticist for Apocalypse, experimenting on thousands of mutants and his own body, turning himself into what his prisoners call Dark Beast. While we've had a few beasts in Legends and X-Men classics, this is the first time we've gotten Dark Beast in the line.
Out of the box, Hank comes with an extra fisted right hand, flat left hand, and Sugarman's hammer. It isn't these accessories, but the hands on the actual figure that have me puzzled. Two gripping hands, with nothing to grip. With the recently announced fan channel exclusive Grey Beast, I now understand why these hands exist. Still, with nothing to hold, I would have liked a fisted left hand or a flat right hand instead. The figure itself doesn't strictly seem to be based off his appearance in the Age of Apocalypse proper. Rather, this image by Jeff Matsuda from the AOA follow-up, X-Men Prime. From what we could gather, artists like Ian Churchill would roll with this style for the next year or so.
Dark Beast is composed of 32 pieces including his accessories, of which 12 are all new: the head, lower torso, and legs. That's about 5% above average for comic-based figures. Dark Hank is based on the Beast body, first introduced in the Caliban wave, which we bought to review on this very show, but got too far behind like we usually do. Here's what I didn't get to say when that came out. I love this body. It mixes articulation and sculpt nearly perfectly. I especially like the integration of the reverse ab crunch. Combined with the diaphragm joint, it creates a more natural-looking movement system to the standard ab crunch and waist swivel. On top of that, the upper torso is shaped really well. Lats are appropriately exaggerated, giving his silhouette a defined V shape, while the pecs are big enough not to look oddly proportioned. As for the new pieces, there's a smattering of eroded texture that helps the pants stand out from the fur. The bands that segment the legs are perfectly aligned to hide the thigh cut, which I really appreciate. There are only a few questionable things. While the sculpt of the fur continues into the elbow piece, just like Dr. Doom, we don't get that same treatment on the shoulders, hands, knees, or ankles. The sculpt of the knees don't allow the legs to fully extend, so he constantly has an ever so slight bend to his stance, further proved by the misalignment of the segments on his backside. Additionally, an opportunity was missed to include a perfectly hidden boot cut, the one piece of articulation that was missing from the original sculpt. Dark Beast stands 7 1/8 inches tall, or just over 18 centimeters. His hair gives him a little edge over his 616 counterpart, and figures like Cyclops, Jean Grey, Colossus, and Juggernaut look perfect next to him. Here's Jackal for anyone else who thinks it would make a good base for a Perez-style beast. Proportionally, DB has a lankier, ape-like body. Considering this is Beast, I'd take away points if he didn't. While the head might not be directly inspired from the Age of Apocalypse event proper, it's stylistically striking enough to replace what I think of Dark Beast in my mind's eye. Plus, it matches the rest of the wave. The majority of the sculpt is excellent, but the amount of new pieces isn't quite above the average range, earning a top-notch 7 out of 10.
It might not seem like it, but half of the 32 pieces that make up desaturated dark blue Beast are painted. That's 14% higher than average for comic-based figures. The most obvious is the head. Dark blue, yellow, red, white, and a smidge of gold details the face and hair. While the mane is technically a separate piece, it creates a clean separation of the hairline and perfectly matches the paint of his mutton chops and chin scruff. Now, it's actually kind of hard to see, but there are darker sprays detailing scruffs of fur on the shoulders, forearms, hands, torso, and feet. Seriously, take a real hard look at his chest and you'll see a diamond-shaped spray of dark gray. It begs the question though, why apply it if you really can't see it? That spray needed to be an even darker shade of gray, in our opinion. The only other part that's painted is the lower torso, cast in metallic blue and painted fur, perfectly matching the casted mid-torso. Normally, a designer could get away with 2 solid casted pieces if a waist swivel was utilized, but the increased articulation means increased paint in this case. In terms of color matching, there are some mishaps. The untextured hinges at the shoulders are significantly more saturated than the spray that highlights the tuft of fur on the shoulders, making them stand out even further. There's a similar issue on the hand where it matches fine palms down, but makes the hinges really stand out palms up. The other hinges don't have these issues, however. Kudos for giving this figure a better deco scheme than I originally thought, even if I'd like it to stand out just a smidge more. There are a few color mismatching issues, but the vast majority of this figure has a very uniform look, earning Deco a 7 out of 10.
Malevolent McCoy has 35 points of articulation, well above average for any Legends figure. The head attaches to the torso with limited range. Tilt it too far and you're likely to just pop it off. The torso itself has both a diaphragm joint and reverse ab crunch, but surprisingly doesn't get as much range as you'd think. Shoulders attach to the torso via butterfly joints, with a bit of forward lateral movement and a lot back. Shoulders are hinge swivels that surpass the 90-degree standard, as do the double-jointed elbows. The swivel hinge hands also get a surprising amount of range. By themselves, the ball and socket thighs get decent range, but drop the ball joints down and you can hit 90. The hidden thigh cuts do their job, as do the double-jointed knees. No boot or ankle cut, which is disappointing. Finally, feet attached to the legs with hinge swivels and an impressive toe hinge. The additions of the reverse ab crunch, drop-down thighs, and toe hinge are more than welcome. I hope this scheme, plus some kind of lower leg cut, becomes the standard for future agile characters like Spider-Man. Better yet, everyone. Earning articulation a 9 out of 10.
Aside from Sugarman himself, Dark Beast is the standout of the wave. While we've seen this articulation scheme and most of the sculpt in the original release, it's still just as impressive here, and the head sculpt really sets it apart from his 616 counterpart.
Before we get to the final score, if you like our style, consider giving this video a like. The easiest way to see more of us is to subscribe, but you can check out our Instagram, Reddit, and now Facebook and Twitter for even more content.
With its fur-covered, inhuman sculpt, shadowy deco design, and advanced articulation scheme, Dark Beast earned an extremely solid 7 out of 10.
Do you disagree with us?
Did we miss anything?
How would you improve the figure?
Let us know in the comments.
In our previous review, Grand Funk Master Chief wrote,
I hope you guys will review the upcoming retro Spider-Man figure. While it's lacking in a number of accessories, hands, unmasked or half unmasked heads, web lines, etc., it might be the most articulated Spidey figure Hasbro has offered.
Well, funny you mentioned that. Stay tuned. I'm Glenn.
I'm Eddie.
And this is Articulated. I'm fucking sweating my fuck